Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. And I feel like so much has happened since my last video, which I can't even tell you what my last video was. I know that it might feel or seem like I left you hanging, but I promise that I did not. I know not everybody checks the posts on like the YouTube community tab, but I did make a post on there a couple months ago letting y'all know that I was stepping away from YouTube for a little while. If you've been here for a little while, you know that YouTube is just for fun for me. It's a hobby. This is not what I do for work, and work was quite full the last couple of months, and so that's why I had to take a step back from YouTube to focus on some very big projects that were going on with work. So those two projects are done. Praise the Lord for that. So I own a planner and productivity company, and our 2026 line is officially in production. Everything is off to our printers, and I am screaming over how excited I am about the 2026 planners and just all the tools. Y'all are gonna love them. And then also I launched a new course called Peacefully Productive CEO, where I'm teaching people how to start online businesses in a peaceful way and not in a hustle culture icky way. And so I am getting to coach 21 students in the live group coaching experience, which I am so excited about. Those are the two things that I have been working my little booty off on for work, but now that work is back at a normal pace, a normal level, I am so stoked to be getting back to filming some book videos for YouTube. And I thought, like, what better way to come back than doing a little bit of a book haul, because some books have been bought over the last couple of months. Let me just tell you, a new Barnes & Noble opened near me. It is huge. So I've already been a couple times. I've loaded up on some books. I am so excited about my TBR. My TBR cart, she is overflowing again. It probably wouldn't hurt to do another round of my Clear the Cart TBR challenge, but we're keeping it low key around here this year. I'm not doing any challenges. I am just reading for fun. So I have over 20 books that I have collected over the last like 2-ish months since I've been away from BookTube. So I thought that this week I would film a little book haul just so we're all on the same page and you know everything that is on my TBR cart. I still have a lot of books over there. I'm looking at it right now from the book haul that I did at the beginning of the year, but we're adding 22 more. And then next week I am going to film my June TBR video. I've got my TBR jar ready, so you can expect that video from me soon after this one. And then one more thing, and then I promise we will get to the book haul. Why did it take me so long to get a Kindle Oasis? Y'all, I am obsessed with this Kindle Oasis. I cannot even tell you. The buttons on the side, the power button on the top instead of on the bottom. My life has changed. This was my gift to myself for launching my new course in my business. And I found it on eBay, unused, which amazing. We love that. And it was affordable because they don't make them anymore. I don't know how I ever lived without one. I truly don't. So anyway, I just had to let you know that I am officially a Kindle Oasis girly. Let's get into the book haul, shall we? Okay, so I've already read a couple of these, not very many of them, but I'll let you know if I've already read them. Let's get into the book haul already, shall we? So these are not in any order. I'm just gonna grab and we're just gonna go. So the first one is Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I already read this book. Spoiler alert, I loved it. So I read Ready or Not by her last year or the year before. It was a 5-star read for me. I still think about that book. So I knew that I was gonna read this one. And as someone who is coming out of a really heavy, deep season of grief, not really coming out of it, I don't know if I'll ever be out of it, but I'm like not in the newness of it anymore. This book really resonated with me because it also deals with heavy, deep grief. So check the trigger warning if that's something that you don't think you can handle in this season of your life. But Lenny, our female main character, has just lost her best friend, and she kind of has like a sort of like keep on living life list that they made together when her best friend was still alive. And so Lenny is working her way through that list that they made together, and it's just so good. I was crying and laughing, and I loved this book so much. So I already read this one, so off to a good start. Next up, we have The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I have not read this one yet. I've read 2 books by Frida McFadden, The Housemaid's The Housemaid and the Housemaid's Secret, I think. Did I even read the second one? I think I only read the first one, actually. I think I only read The Housemaid, and it was fast-paced, and I really enjoyed it. I don't read a lot of thrillers because I get spooked so easily. I'm such a wimp when it comes to thrillers and horror and all of that. But I honestly think that I just bought this because I was in a bookstore and I didn't want to walk out empty-handed. Maybe I have a problem, maybe. So I grabbed this one because I thought I didn't have any thrillers on my TBR cart, and this is the only one that I have on there right now. And I like to always have one because it is, I feel like, a very good palate cleanser and a very just quick read. Get you out of a reading slump. Like if you're feeling kind of blah with your reading, I feel like a thriller, at least for me, always yanks me up out of a reading slump. I'll read you the first line. It says, as a new nurse practitioner at a maximum security prison, Brooke Sullivan is taught 3 crucial rules. 1, treat all prisoners with respect. 2, never reveal any personal information. 3, never ever become too friendly with the inmates. I think we know what's gonna happen. So anyway, I have this one on my TBR cart. Next up, we have The Keeper of Happy Endings by Barbara Davis. This I got in a blind date with a book. Every single time that I buy one of these blind date with the books at a bookstore, I'm never that excited. And so I don't think I'm gonna do them anymore. However, I kept this because the ratings on Goodreads, so high, so incredibly high. And then I posted it on, I think I got it back in February. I posted it on my Instagram and I got a couple DMs of people saying they absolutely love this book. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm going to keep it on my TBR cart and I will get to it when I get to it. But I was shocked at how high the rating is on Goodreads. So I truly do not know what this is about at all. There is a picture of an Eiffel Tower on the cover. I'm thinking it's historical fiction if I had to guess, but I truly don't know. So we can find out together when I decide to read it. Next up, we have, I might have shown you this in my last book haul. I couldn't remember. I did my best to only grab books that I didn't have in my beginning of the year book haul, but some of them might overlap, you know what I mean? But this one is You Between the Lines by Katie Naiman. And I just love the cover of this one, but I've heard very mixed reviews on this, like very mixed reviews. So I'm not as excited to read it as I was when I got it, but I know that our female main character is in an MFA program, and I think they're both writers. All's fair in love and poetry when former high school classmates reignite their rivalry in a prestigious MFA program in this steamy enemies to lovers debut. So I'm not really that excited to read this anymore. After hearing people's reviews and the reasoning why they didn't enjoy it, a lot of people were saying that the female main character is like unbearable, like that she treats this guy like crap, and I'm just like, I'm not really into that. So I do want to read it for myself just so that I can see, and also the cover is just so cute, but I'm not that excited to read it anymore, if I'm being honest. Next, this is the newest book that I have purchased, I think, and it's called Don't Be in Love by Liana Cincotti. I bought this because I read one of her books like 2 or 3 years ago, Picking Daisies on Sundays, and I love that book so much. It's one of my favorite covers that I have on my shelf. So cute. Don't even know what this is about. I'm assuming that it takes place in London because of the flags on the back, but truly that is all that I know. I did not need to know anything before I bought it, just because I loved Picking Daisies on Sundays so much that I was like, oh my gosh, she has another book. How did I not know? And so I bought this one, but it's about a 21-year-old who is career driven, and she decides to transfer to one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Wow, are you getting deja vu? Because I am getting deja vu. So anyway, I am excited to read this just because I loved Picking Daisies on Sundays. That's really all I have to say about this. Next up, I kept seeing this one floating all over the place and I just could not resist. It's called Passion Project by London Sperry. I don't know a ton about this one. I feel like I'm gonna keep saying that because it doesn't take a lot for me to buy a book, but I do know that it is about our main character. I believe she lives in New York City, and she's trying to find out what she's passionate about. Like, she doesn't have any hobbies or anything, and so she's trying to figure that out. And I feel like that is such a common thing for people when they're in their late 20s, early 30s. I'm in my mid 30s, but I still feel like it's something that I can relate to, just trying to figure out what I'm passionate about and like who I am outside of motherhood and outside of work. And so I'm just excited to read this one. Plus, I feel like books that are set in New York City, they're just a vibe, especially in the spring and summer. So the Passion Project, or is it just Passion Project? Just Passion Project. I think this one is going to be a fun one, and I feel like I've seen good reviews of this on BookTube. Okay, next up, this was actually gifted to me. Shout out to Joe if you are watching this, and it is The Bookish Life of Nina Hill. So since it was gifted to me, I don't know anything by it. Wait. The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. Did I say by Nina Hill? I don't remember. Anyway, The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. The cover is so cute. I love it so much. And I think it's a book about a bookish person. And so I love a book about books or a book about bookish people, usually. So I'm excited to read this one. The friend of mine who sent it to me said that she had such a good time reading it and she thought that I would enjoy it. And I feel like this seems like a perfect like spring or summer read. So I'm very excited. I don't even want to know anything else that it's about, so I'm not going to read the back, but just know that it is a book about a bookish girl, and that I am excited for. Next up is Story of My Life by Lucy Score. So this is Lucy Score's newer release. I think it just came out, but to be honest, I haven't heard anything about it. And I feel like Lucy Score, back when I first got into reading in 2021, Lucy Score was like all the rage, but I feel like for some reason this book just hasn't been talked about. At least I haven't seen it talked about. And so I was just like, wait a second, like why is no one talking about this? But I have heard it's, was it Schitt's Creek? I think that when I was like reading about it online before I ordered it, there was like a blurb that mentioned that it's kind of like Schitt's Creek and something else. Was it Gilmore Girls? I think it was Gilmore Girls and Schitt's Creek. I don't know, I could be wrong. I'll type on the screen like what the actual thing that I read said. But when I see anything that says Schitt's Creek or Gilmore Girls, I will buy it and I will read it. So I don't really know what to expect because I have not heard anybody talk about this one, and I have kind of a mixed relationship with Lucy Score books. Some of them I've really enjoyed, some of them not at all. So I'm interested to see what I think about this one. It is quite thick, so I don't know when I'm going to be getting to it, but on the back it has blurbs from Christina Lauren, Megan Quinn, which I've never read anything by her, and Abby Jimenez, which Abby Jimenez is one of my favorite authors. So I don't know, but the little blurb says, what's more inspiring to a rom-com author than a hot, grumpy contractor literally knocking down walls? Hazel Hart is a thriving romance novelist until a breakup drives her straight into writer's block. So I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued. Okay, the next book we have is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I've heard, again, mixed things about this. This just came out not too long ago, and I have just been putting off reading it because it's the last book in a series, the Powerless series, Powerless Trilogy, I think it's called. Also, it's so thick. I have just not been drawn to super long books lately. I don't know what it is, but I've just been like, ooh, no thanks, like avoiding them. But I really do want to get to this one soon just because it'll feel really nice to have finished a series. I've read all the rest of the series already. Powerless, Powerful, which is the novella, Reckless, which was book 2, and then this one, Fearless. I didn't like Reckless. Powerless, I enjoyed it when I read it, but I think if I read it now, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. I think my taste as a reader has just changed. I read it a couple years ago, but I can't imagine not finishing the series. And so I had to buy this and I'm going to read it. I just don't know when. Okay, next up, another fantasy, 2 fantasies in a row. Who is she? Who is she? This one is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and I don't really know much about this. I honestly just picked it up because of the cover. I know you're not supposed to do that, but this is another one of those times that I was just at a bookstore and I wanted to support it. It was like an indie bookstore and this cover was just calling out to me. And so I was like, okay, we'll get that one. So let's read the back and see what's going on together. It says, the iconic Bridge Kingdom series begins, a sweeping, sizzling fantasy romance filled with political intrigue and passionate love from the New York Times bestselling author of A Fate Inked in Blood. I've heard of that one too, but I haven't read it. And then the first little line says, a warrior princess trained in isolation, Lara, is driven by 2 certainties. The first is that King Arin of the Bridge Kingdom is her enemy, and the second is that she'll be the one to bring him to his knees. Okay, so again, don't know much about this. I honestly didn't even look it up on Goodreads or anything. I just kind of went for it. So I will let you know. I will report back once I have read it. Next up, we have First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is another one. I can't remember if this was in my last book haul, but just in case it wasn't, I wanted to put it in this video. I have already read this. I just finished it not too long ago, and I started off strong with it, okay? I was getting 5-star feelings, and then the last like third really fell off for me. We have Lucy, our female main character, and then what is his name? Aiden, I think. Is that his name? Yeah. Aiden is our male main character. Aiden works, he's a radio host. He hosts like a show about love, and Lucy's daughter Maya ends up calling into the radio station, and she's like, hey, my mom needs love. Like, can you help my mom find love? So then you can guess what happens. But anyway, the first part of the book, I was so into. I loved Lucy's character. I loved her family dynamic. I loved her coworkers. Like, it was just fun. I was laughing out loud. But then when the romance started picking up, I just did not enjoy it anymore. And so I docked a whole star off. I think I only gave this one 4 stars. Not only, 4 stars is still very good, but I thought I was gonna give it 5 stars. So I wasn't a fan of our male main character, to be honest. I'm still glad that I read it. I still am obsessed with this cover, and I'm very excited to have it on my bookshelf, but it let me down a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we have, I just bought this one not that long ago because it just came out last week, and it is Frederick Bachman's new book, My Friends. I will be so for real, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything, but I have read 1, 2, 3, 4 books by this author this year. I'm on the 5th right now. I'm reading the winners in the Beartown series, the last one in the Beartown series right now. And I just love his writing. Like, I love it. So as soon as I saw this, I was just cruising around Barnes and I was like, oh yeah, that's coming home with me for sure. So I don't know anything. Like, I don't know what it's about at all, but it says, the world is full of miracles, but none greater than how far a young person can be carried by someone else's belief in them. Okay, so it sounds like it's gonna be touching. Don't know, don't care. I'm gonna read it, and I'm very excited to read it. I will read pretty much anything that he writes because, like I said, his writing style, it's just so different than anything I've ever read. Like A Man Called Uwe, is that how you say it? I was crying my eyes out when I read that book. That was a 5-star read for me. I read it this year, and I'm just telling you, his writing, it just makes you think. It makes you think. So very, very stoked to have this one on my TBR card. Next up is Wild Dark Shore. This is another one. I don't know a ton about it, but I feel like this year especially, I've really been leaning more into general fiction or literary fiction. And so anytime that I hear someone say anything about any literary fiction or general fiction book, like anything positive, I just kind of have been automatically buying them because I'm trying to build up my collection of those types of books to read. And so I think Destiny Sidwell is who said that she read this and absolutely loved it. And it did sound interesting. From what I remember, somebody washes up on the shore somewhere, and then this family has to like take care of this person. And so that's really all I know, and that could be completely wrong if I'm being honest, but let's find out together, shall we? Oh yeah, it's an island kind of near Antarctica is where it takes place. And yeah, until during blah, 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 a woman mysteriously washes ashore like during a storm, and then Dominic and his 3 children, I guess they're the ones who find her and like nurse her back to health. I don't know, but I'm just trying to expand my literary fiction and general fiction collection because those are the books that I've been drawn to the most this year. Those are the books that I keep giving 5 stars this year. So I scooped this one up because of that. And then the next one that I have is also in that genre category, which I think it's just like general fiction or literary fiction. I'm not even sure the difference, to be honest. I should look into that. Someone can correct me in the comments if you would like. Feel free, feel free. But this one is called The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. And I bought this because one of my favorite local bookstores here in Tampa, well, the bookstore is in St. Pete, they shared this on their Instagram stories. And number 1, I loved the cover. Number 2, I wanted to support them, so I bought it from them. And number 3, it just sounded so sweet to me. And there is a blurb on the back by Shelby Van Pelt, who wrote Remarkably Bright Creatures, which I loved. I gave that 5 stars last year or the year before, I can't remember. Also, I heard that it's becoming a show on Netflix. Cannot wait. But this one, it's about an older gentleman who takes, I think, like a cross-country road trip. And the description that the bookstore was sharing on their Instagram stories was giving me the vibes of A Man Called Uwe. And so I just told you guys that book made me cry. It was 5 stars. I loved it. So I just didn't even think, I just bought. Didn't even think, I just bought. So I am very excited to get into this one, but the little blurb says, a darkly comic and warm-hearted novel about an old man on a cross-country mission to reunite with his high school crush, bringing together his adult daughter, 2 orphaned kids, and a cat who can predict death by the beloved author of Rabbit Cake and Unlikely Animals. So it says, at 63 years old, $1 million lottery winner PJ Holiday would be the luckiest man in Pondville, Massachusetts if it weren't for the tragedies of his life. And I won't go on, but for some reason, I just think this one is gonna hit. I haven't heard anyone talk about it at all. First time I ever saw it was on the bookstore's Instagram stories, and I think it just came out. So I'm stoked. I will, again, report back on how it goes after I read it. And then my next one, we all know this one. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I have not read this yet. It is my book club's pick for May, so I'm actually gonna be starting it after I finish the book that I'm reading right now, and I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I've seen mixed reviews, and also I feel like it is quite thick for an Emily Henry book. I'm looking at her other ones, and yeah, it does seem like the thickest of the bunch, but I've just heard such mixed reviews, and I have a very complicated relationship with Emily Henry. I absolutely love Beach Read and Funny Story. Way deep down in my heart. Like, those books, my soul books, I love them, but Book Lovers and Happy Place and People We Meet on Vacation, I was very just like meh about. So I feel like I'm either very meh about her books or they hit. And so I'm very intrigued to see where this falls on my Emily Henry ranking spectrum. But I do know that it's about 2 authors who are they're like competing to write about this, I think, like older famous woman's story or something. Kind of reminds me a little bit of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like that part. So anyway, I'm not sure what to expect. I have been avoiding spoilers like the plague. Like, anytime I see like people like talk about this, I'll listen for like 1 second to see like what their star rating was, and then I'm like, okay, I have to go because I don't want anything ruined for me. So I'm intrigued. This will be my next read, and so I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Next up is The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoth. I bought this for myself on Mother's Day because my husband got me a gift card to Barnes for Mother's Day, and he also set me up like a reading oasis in our backyard. It was a vibe, and I'm like, wow, talk about top tier Mother's Day celebrating. Thanks to my husband. But anyway, I went to Barnes on Mother's Day to use my gift card because I couldn't just let a gift card sit unused for any more than like a day, you know? So I went to Barnes and I snagged this one, and I actually bought a copy for my best friend too, because she read another book. It's in this pile, so I won't say it. I'll tell you which one it is when we get to it. But she read another book and she was obsessed with it, which is why I bought it. And she said that she wanted to read other books like that. And I had heard that this book is kind of like similar vibes to that book that she really loved. And so this one, the only thing that I know about it is there's a lot of family drama, like a lot of family drama. There's another one that kind of falls into that general fiction, literary fiction genre situation, but it says that Ryan and Lillian Bright are deeply in love, recently married, and now parents to a baby girl, Georgette, but Lillian has a son she hasn't told Ryan about, and Ryan has an alcohol addiction he hasn't told Lillian about. So Georgette comes of age watching their marriage rise and fall. So again, lots of family drama. That's all that I really know, but I've heard that if you like the book that my best friend liked, that you'll like this one. So I really like the cover of this one too. I think it's really pretty. So I'm probably gonna buddy read this one with my bestie fairly soon. I told her that I have to read Emily Henry's new book first, but then this one will probably be shortly after that. Okay, and then the next one, this is actually the book. I didn't know they were sitting next to each other, but this is the book that my best friend read, Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall, that she absolutely loved. And so again, I was just looking up other books that were similar to this, and The Bright Years came up, but my best friend read this a couple weeks ago, and she said that it was so good and that I had to read it. So I bought it immediately when she said that. I was like, you don't even have to tell me what it's about. Like, I trust you. I trust you. And so she said it was kind of genre bending, that it was like fiction action and thriller and mystery, kind of like all together. I do not know anything about this, truly. It says, the farmer is dead. He is dead, and all anyone wants to know is who killed him. So like mystery. Beth and her gentle, kind husband, Frank, are happily married, though their relationship relies on the past staying buried. A sweeping love story with the pace and twist of a thriller. Okay, so it's like romance and thriller and mystery. Okay, so this one is very high up on my TBR list because of how highly my best friend spoke of it, but it also sounds very intriguing. I think I've heard one other person talk about it, and she was mentioning that it was really good to get out of a reading slump, like it got her out of a reading slump. So I feel like this is a good one to have on my TBR cart for if I feel a reading slump coming on, which I kind of am right now a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to jinx myself, but I feel like it's coming. So I'm glad that I have this one on my TBR card, just in case. All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. We're almost done. Next up is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. Don't come for me. I read the first book in the Magnolia Park series, and I didn't like it. I know. That is a lot of people's top tier series, like #1, and it just wasn't for me. Please don't come for me. However, I kind of had FOMO seeing people talk about this book because #1, the cover really intrigued me. And also, I don't know, hearing people talk about it just made me want to read it. I can't tell you why, especially knowing that I didn't enjoy Magnolia Parks. I'm like, girl, do you even really want to read that? I don't know, but the FOMO won. And so I bought it. The only thing that I know is that the main character, she is like a behavior analyst or something like that, and I think that like that's her job, and to me I feel like that is so intriguing. So that is one thing that I was drawn to. Also, it takes place in the South, I'm pretty sure, or like her family's from the South. I love me some Southern family drama, truly. So those are pretty much the only two reasons why I bought this book. But it says, London-based Georgia Carter, a professional lie detector and body language savant, is that how you say that? I don't know, has been estranged from her infuriating, closed-minded, wealthy South Carolina family. After a falling out years ago, the chasm runs deep between the black sheep, Georgia, and her gay alcoholic brother, and their parents and elder siblings. But when their father dies suddenly, Georgia returns to the States for the funeral, where she comes face to face with Sam Penny, her brother's AA sponsor. Amid the tensions, dramas, and revelations of the family reunion, Georgia and Sam are instantly drawn to each other. So yeah, it's just a lot of family drama, it sounds like. And so, I don't know. I was intrigued. I have no idea if I'm gonna like it or not, but I wanted to give Jessa Hastings another shot, even though I was not the biggest fan of Magnolia Parks. Again, don't come for me. Please don't come for me. Okay, next up is Spark of the Everflame, another fantasy. I think that's 3 fantasies. That's a lot for me. And I bought this one. It was one of those times. Do you see a pattern here? I was at a bookstore and I just didn't want to walk out empty-handed. And so I was like, okay, let's get this one. I don't know anything about it. I know it's on Kindle Unlimited. That's why I bought it, so that I could read it on my Kindle. But it says, when old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. Ooh, this is really pretty. That is a very, very pretty, and I like the cover too, so that excites me. But the first little line in the blurb says, in a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the descended, their cruel, magic-wielding offspring, DM Bellator, yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. So I really still don't know anything, to be honest. I feel like when I read fantasy blurbs, I'm more confused than when I didn't know anything. So we're just gonna go into this and just hope for the best, but I am excited that I get to read it on my Kindle for sure. Anytime I can get a book on Kindle Unlimited, my chances of buying that book are a little bit higher because I prefer reading on my Kindle to anything. As a mom, it's just more convenient because I only need one hand. Okay, last 3 books. This is another one. I can't remember if I showed this in my last, like my beginning of the year book haul. I got this around my birthday, so back in January, so it's been sitting on my TBR cart for a minute. But it's called Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell, and the only reason that I bought it is because the girl who was working at Barnes & Noble told me it was her favorite book, and I was like, I like the cover and it's your favorite book, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it. And also it's like general fiction, and like I told you, I'm trying to like build up my collection. I don't know anything, but let's see, there is a the like little blurb on the back by Gabrielle Zevin, the author of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I really enjoyed that book, so that's promising. And then she also, didn't she write The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery? Because I really liked that book. I think she's the one who wrote that. Maybe not, I don't know. But it says, back in high school, everybody thought Shiloh and Carrie would end up together. Everybody but Shiloh and Carrie. They were just friends, best friends. They spent entire summers sitting on Shiloh's porch steps, dreaming about the future. Okay, I already think I'm gonna love this. I love a friends to lovers, especially high school friends to lovers, because that's like the trope of my life. My husband and I were best friends in high school, and then we started dating at the end of high school, and now we're married. So this one I feel like is gonna have a soft spot in my heart, and I'm actually, now that I'm sitting here talking with you about this book, I'm more excited about it, and I wanna bump it up on my TBR, and I also do have a copy of it on my Kindle, so I'm so hot. You guys, I feel like I'm melting here. It's already summer here in Florida. We skipped spring and we're like directly in summer, but we only have 2 more books, so I can manage. The next one is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. As you can see, tabbed, so I've already read this. We read this in book club in April, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I loved parts of it. I loved Hank. But overall, it's not my favorite Abby Jimenez book, and I think my expectations were through the roof because she is one of my top 3 favorite authors. So anytime a new book comes out from her, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be 5 stars immediately. But this one just wasn't for me. I think I gave it like a 4.25 or something. Like I said, I had a good time. I just didn't have a great time. I just had some issues with some of the things in the book, like how things were handled. And also, it was a very heavy read. And I feel like normally I like how Abby Jimenez can talk about like very real life heavy topics, but in a lighthearted way. This one just did not feel lighthearted at all. Like I felt exhausted, like emotionally and mentally exhausted every time that I would spend time reading this, and I was just like, bro, reading is supposed to energize me, and this was draining me, like truly draining me. I still loved the writing because I love Abby Jimenez's writing, but this was just a tough one for me to get through, but I still liked it because it's Abby Jimenez, you know what I mean? And then the last book, not to end on a bad note, is Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. I already read this one. Was not for me. Was not for me. I just been hearing such good things about this, and the cover caught my eye at a local bookstore, and so I just grabbed it without really thinking. And so I'd already had it on my shelf, and then I saw people talking about it and like raving about it, but it just did not hit for me for some reason. I wanted to love it, and I loved the idea of it, but I just felt like it felt a little bit, I don't want to say snooty. So it's about these 2 people who meet in college, Percy and Joe, and they connect about their love for music. And so I love the premise. Joe is a musician. Percy is not, but she's really good at writing songs and like critiquing songs, making them better. She wants to be a writer. And so I liked the idea of the plot, but the execution just didn't work for me. I feel like the author just took all of her music knowledge from the 2000s and like dumped it onto the pages. And so I feel like I wasn't actually reading a story. I felt like I was just reading about the author's music knowledge. And it almost felt like she was trying to make us as the reader feel like, oh, look how much you don't know about 2000s music. I'm gonna name all these facts and songs and artists and this and that and the other. And like, I don't know. For me personally, I was just like, I don't know half the things you're saying right now. And also I don't care. And so I didn't love this one. I know a lot of people are really enjoying this one. I think this is her debut novel, but it just was not for me. And I honestly don't know if I'll read anything else from her based on how this one felt when I was reading it. Never say never, but I'm not like overly excited to reach for another book by this author. But anyway, that is my book haul. Now we're all on the same page and you know what books I have added to my TBR cart. I am gonna film my June TBR jar video next week, so you guys will see that one shortly. Thank y'all so much for those of you who, number 1, stuck around and you're still here, truly. And number 2, I got a handful of messages over on Instagram Instagram, just checking in to make sure that I was okay since I hadn't been posting videos like I normally do. You guys are so sweet, so thoughtful, so kind, just such pure humans. And I'm just so grateful for our little community here on my YouTube channel. But I love you guys so much. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have the best day ever.